live. Hello everyone and welcome to the league draw. How are we? Say hi in chat. As usual we have the beautiful Ben.
Afternoon.
The awesome Adam. And
Afternoon.
the jovial Josh. I don't know. I didn't practice that bit. So it's the last round. So Ben, what can we expect going into this one and what do we need to know?
So yes, it's at the start of the league. It feels like this is a long way off, but then whenever we get to round 6, it feels like we've just got going. So very last round, same draw as normal. We obviously have the distinct brackets now based on your performance and wins. So we will do the draw in a second. We already know the mission, which I think we'll probably spend a few minutes to recap before we start the draw, just so we've got some clarity on it. A couple of caveats to this draw. Tris, I think everyone knows at the club, will be welcoming a new child tomorrow.
So, congratulations,
congratulations to Tris and family. As a result, Tris won't be playing round 6. He has more important things to do, like changing nappies and feeding children. And one of our other league players, Alex Sodek, is also going to struggle to make this round before the end of the year. So what we're going to do is, if those two don't draw each other, which is a possibility, we will more than likely match their opponents to play each other. So just a caveat before we draw, Trish's opponent will likely play Alex Sodek's opponent if that game's not possible, but we'll find a game for everybody. So that's the only issues for this round draw that might affect the pairings slightly.
Okay.
Other than that, straight into round 6, last round of the league. Until we start the next one, which I guess is to be confirmed. But it's been a great 5-6 months.
Yeah, okay. Everyone, I just want to take a moment to say thanks to Ben. It's been absolutely fantastic. Bar a few technical issues, I think we've gotten through it slowly. I understand the connection isn't great, so sorry for that one. I'll just see if I can go out into editor mode. Maybe that's what's causing it, but hopefully it's going to relax a little bit. I'll be looking at the screen, so don't be distracted by me not watching. We've only really got one map left, so there's no role for that this time.
I'm absolutely useless this week.
Yeah, we know it's Terraform.
We know that.
It's Terraform and Swift Action, which is Battle Line can do an action if they fall back or advance, I believe. So we've not played this mission actually in any of the recent RTTs, tournaments, or at League. So a nice new one to get our teeth stuck into for round 6.
Yep.
Which should be interesting.
And what we've got up on the screen now should actually be the league table. So I'm on top, but I've played Josh, I've played James, I haven't played Matt, I've played Ben, I haven't played Jordan, so it's one of those two. Yep. There's a few unknowns. Looking in the 4 and 1, James, Matt, Ben, Jordan. So it's going to be interesting, that one. Ben, you think you might be going into Josh or Jordan here?
Yeah, I think all the way down to, I think the 3 and 2s are all the way down to 11th place.
Yeah.
Now, anybody that's currently on 3 and 2, in theory, can finish in the top 3 because besides, as well as their 4 wins, anybody who wins their last round has a real shot at that top at that 3rd place position. So yes, if you fail to win your round 6 game, you could find yourself finishing outside the top 10. So there's some motivation for everybody in that top bracket.
Some try-hards out there.
Yeah, and obviously effectively, should both Joshes lose their last games, anybody from all the way down to 11th can actually win the league.
Yeah.
So
that's fantastic.
Massive last round.
Yeah, that's crazy, isn't it?
It is crazy. Getting to that 4 and 2 mark could be quite substantial. Sorry, 5 and 1 for the league victory is still on.
So I think what you're saying, just to clarify, is if I run Josh over with his car so he can't play his last game, then I could win the league.
Yes, yeah. Although if you still lost your last game, he'd still have more points than you.
I'd run my opponent over, obviously, to make sure.
Yeah, but no, I think it's just a great example of, obviously we've tried something different this time round. We've used the Swiss pairings with the bracket pairings, which I think have been really good to see. Just for clarity, everyone has submitted their lists in time. Should the balanced slate drop on Thursday, it won't be in play for this round. So just to be absolutely clear, everybody, lists and points have been submitted pre-slate. Cut-off is this evening at midnight. So, sorry, it was last night at midnight. only if there's some substantially huge changes that are equal to everybody. If it comes on a Thursday, would we consider it? But generally, it's on the current slate. So just keep your arm. You then score 2 points from that objective every turn that your opponent can't stop.
Yeah.
Each objective can only be terraformed by one player. So once it's done,
You're gonna get, if you can terraform one of these objectives, turn 1, or can you do it in turn 1?
you can begin the action.
Right.
It obviously doesn't complete until the start of turn 2, but you can begin the action turn 1 on terraform this map, because you can take all 3 and effectively you're getting 6 primary points passively for the rest of the game. So half your primary is secured already.
Impressive. Okay. So quite a good one for big horde infantry lists that have lots of OC.
Yeah, absolutely. OC is important here. If you can get on, and obviously get them terraformed. It's a good map. I like. If you look at on both sides, each individual, you have your expansion objective, so to speak, but there's a whole lot of objective for your opponent to jump on behind the building to try and take it from you. It's a nice, expansive, open map. Lots of shooting lanes, lots of movement. Not too many places that are going to tie up monsters, although you should be able to see on here, knights and big tanks can't actually fit through the gap on the home objective. There's only one way in, which is to the left of the big piece of terrain. So,
Okay. Yeah, so big knights only. I'd have to see. It looks like it's 3.5, so maybe smaller tanks can get through there.
I think things like your Lehman Russes or your land fortresses, the big wide boys, the land raiders will struggle, which just gives you a bit more protection. But swift action is useful. Battle line is still, despite the buffs, I think quite few and far between in some armies this edition. So that ability to one that people often forget, the ability that applies to all actions. So if you get containment or if you get deploy homers, anything like that, your battle line can advance and do that action. So that gives you quite an advantage.
Okay, so without further ado, I suppose we should do the draw.
Yes. So let's see what way this goes. Pairing 1. We ready to go?
I believe so.
So the first game, and the first person out the hat is Joshua Townley, which I think we expected.
Okay.
And we know realistically you've got 2 options here, Matt or Jordan. Probably realistically the people you can play.
Both have got good armies for this mission.
And you will be playing. I did build the anticipation for this. It's the last round.
Don't do this to me.
Mr. Matthew Jones.
Oh, here we go. Okay.
So, quite clearly, should you win that game, and Josh has to win his game. If Josh also wins his game, it will come down to Bernholtz pairings. You both have the tie break against each other. It could even come down to points scored. It all depends on the Bernholtz scores. So sets up an interesting end to the league. But Josh into Matt. I know Matt's agents list is full of 4+ Invon squads. A lot of infantry, a lot of OC.
It's going to hard to stop him scoring primary.
Yeah, Caldas, Navigator, Road Trader.
Yeah, but he's up against a lot of guns.
3 kill teams, 2 Warglaives.
Yes, I forgot that Matt's added 2 Warglaives with the demon spears, the melters, and the glaives.
Not an easy one to say the least.
I'll just read my notes here on Josh's list. The list we've learnt to hate. Let's hope he gets his teeth kicked in.
Thank you so much.
Nice analogy. So, big game. Obviously, we haven't yet discussed the plans around streams. I think obviously we probably need to get some of these league-defining games on stream, knowing the outcome. So we'll look at that afterwards. But yes, Josh into Matt.
Okay.
Fixture 2 is Josh Burns on the Space Wolves. Has Josh made any changes for this last round?
His list is called Wolf Jail. I don't think I need to say any more.
I think it's pretty much the same list that he's been running successfully.
I'm sure he'll make a comment if it's not. No,
we've seen it very successfully perform on stream a couple of times now. So good list. And he will be playing James Wright.
Ooh.
So it is another top of the table clash. Our top 4 are all going into each other, which I guess is to be expected at this point. You could probably call James's list Warjow, to be honest, because it's just an awful lot of fast-moving killer cans.
Killer cans, Gorkanauts, Flash Gits, and Mechs.
Well, we've seen how well his army goes into vehicles, so
Yeah.
Josh is...
Yes, but there's a lot of them at
There
this
is a lot of
time.
them.
So
Yeah.
that I think would be a great game actually. Josh into James again would be a potential league winner there if Josh can win that one, depending on your performance into Matt. Either of you win, it's 50-50 who wins the league. So another great pairing.
It might come down to a knife fight in the car park.
Might do.
It might do. Now the third pairing is myself, and it will be into Jordan. So Ben
that
into
is
Jordan.
a hell of a game.
It's probably the one list I didn't want to face. Battle Shocks absolutely ruined T-Sons. No Cabal points, no stratagems. A lot of infantry there. Should be a good game. I've always had fun games with Jordan, so I look forward to that one. I don't think Jordan or myself have made any changes for the last few rounds.
No, but I do want to highlight that Josh has called his, Jordan's called his list the wrong side of hilarious. And I do appreciate when I'm going through and looking at the list to see what people have actually named their list. But that's Raptors, Warp Talons, some Noise Marines, 2 Preds.
Two Preds, right?
Yeah, and you've got Magnus, a load of Cabal of Masters, 2 Vortex Beasts and some Zangors on discs, I think.
Yeah, same list I've played round 4, 5, and now 6. There's no other units I can really change to put it in. It should be a good game. It's going to come down to if I can pass those battle shocks, I can hopefully kill enough for it to affect me.
So either of you are in contention to win it, obviously.
I think for myself and Jordan, it will whoever wins the game probably finishes in the top 3 or 4. But the loser could finish in the outside the top 10. So it's quite a pivotal game there. I think Jordan, interestingly, approached the league initially as a bit of a fun, different detachment. He try something different, and seems to have stumbled on quite a powerful combination. Seeing a lot more representation in tournaments now as well of is it the Warp Talons or the I can't remember the name.
I can't remember what it's called. It's
the
Jumpy
actual
Scary
detachment.
Boys.
Yeah, it's who thought Battle Shocks would actually be useful in 10th edition at the start when they seemed pretty useful.
Yeah.
So another good game. Next up is our very own Adam.
Yeah, me.
On his
On my Votan. So I completely changed my list. It's all warriors. It's not. It's Freeland Fortress.
And you will be playing into Fur on his Astra Militarian.
Yeah.
I hope for your sake it isn't the list I played against Fur at the weekend, which just made me cry.
I believe it is. My notes say Nork Dedog, 3 Rogel Dawns, 2 Chimeras, 2 units of Kazakins, which we know just destroy Land Raiders, don't we, Josh?
Yeah.
And my note is this should be illegal.
I think
it will be Thursday.
Yeah.
I think for most card lists, yes, they do feel a little bit illegal, a little bit naughty at the moment.
Yeah.
What will be even more depressing is if on Thursday morning Aquilans go up to 190 points, and we're in pre-slate status.
Yeah.
So I think we all know point rises are coming. Nasty list, but you do have the land fortresses, you do have the damage output if you get the opportunity to get in there first.
Let's hope my Alpha Strike isn't an alpha wetfish like it was against Josh.
You don't have to be aggressive.
Always aggressive.
Always aggressive.
It's an army full of berserkers.
Roger that.
Yeah.
Right, what's
Next up is Nathan Evans on his CSM. Will be playing Simon Payne on his Dark Angels. So a classic Space Marine into CSM game. I think Nathan is playing yet another detachment. I think he's played a different detachment around 4, 5, 6. So
I think he's played every detachment for the CSM this
feel that
this
way.
league.
I mean, if you want to get value out of your codex,
True.
Go and speak to Nathan.
Fernando says, time to bully some dwarves.
Yeah. I might just give him the 20-0 now. Save my tears. But yeah, Nath's got Abaddon, Fabius Bile, 2 units of bikes, 2 Preds, 2 Vindicators, a Hellbrute.
Sounds very much again like the other list I played on Sunday. Interesting, the conversation I had with Nathan was about how actually I felt Dark Angels could nullify it quite well with the -1 damage, the Knight. Simon's got a list equipped there to go head on into that. So I think that would be a good battle.
I think both players are looking to make a splash this league, so that's good. That'll be an interesting game.
What I like is both players have taken the named characters, because Simon's bringing the Lion and Azria as well. So it's
and
a real...
and Abaddon is a beast as well, so let's see how that goes.
He is, you have to try and shoot that bugger. He's very deadly. Now, the next game is one that I am really, really looking forward to. And I was hoping this one might happen.
Go on.
And this will be Reese on his Death Guard.
Yeah.
I think you know where I'm going with this. We'll be playing Mr. Naismith on his Death Guard.
No way. They avoided this game at the practice on the.
They did avoid this game at the practice. I didn't want to give up too much. I think clearly this is the old guard versus the new boy for the crown of Nurgle.
Oh,
so
God.
this is almost like the Calcutta Cup in the Six Nations. This is the who's the best. Let's really build this up. Who's the best Nurgle player? Who's the best Death Guard player? Reese versus Rich.
Whoever loses has to wash their models.
Absolutely, yes. Yeah. They have to de-Nurgle their models.
Well,
what a game that will be, Rich.
I think they're both in chat, no comments so far, but I'll be really interested to see how that goes.
Yeah, well, it's interesting. Reese has bought Morty, lots of characters. Interestingly, he's left his Rhino at home.
That's a show.
That's interesting because he was just telling me the other day, Reese, that in a mirror match, the one who has Morty has a huge advantage because he basically turns off the Death Guard, the army rule of modifiers. Turns off the modifiers, so Rich will be quite frustrated by that.
Yeah, because he's bought Typhus, some Spawns, some Preds, some Death Shroud, some Drones, and 3 Knights.
3 Knights?
Yes.
Carnivore and...
2 Carnivores and...
what I will say is 2 Carnivores charging Multi, pick him up with no problem. So a 140 point Carnivore picking up a 300 point Multi is not a bad trade. So it might have been, it'd be nice to see both Multis going against each other, but
I like that. That's a game of chess.
2 different lists, 2 different play styles.
Chess. Yeah, great.
Good game. Right, next up is Nick on his Custodes.
Yeah, he's changed his list.
I played it on the weekend.
Yeah,
he's not filled it with Dreadnoughts, has he? Because of the detachment.
No, he's got Valerian, which you don't see on the table quite often. 2 Grav Tanks.
Okay.
A crap load of Wardens and Assassin.
So actually, I would say, if we had this conversation with Nick a few times, I've always been of the impression you take no Grav Tanks or 2. And he's often dabbled with 1. I think he's not quite got the output from it he's wanted. 2 Grav Tanks is just an absolute menace, and you can't afford to commit anything in front of that. So
it's quite
a lot of firepower, and he is going to be playing Bearded Steve on his Necrons.
Ooh. So
the question is, because I haven't looked at Steve's list myself yet, is has he gone?
He's gone Canoptic Cork.
He's gone up Canoptic Cork, 2 Stalkers, 3 units of Raves, 2 Destroyers, and a Catan.
Okay.
Feel no pain.
So, probably in Steve's benefit there, if he'd gone for the Monoliths, he might have been in trouble because those Grav Tanks love picking them up. Into Wraiths, that's going to be an interesting game. Feel no pains all over the shop. Custodians into Wraiths, Wraiths not scratching them back.
Yeah.
Good game. That should be an interesting one to watch as well. Next up is Jack and James on their Space Marines, on the Ultramarines, into Eros on his Eldar.
Oh, interesting. So that's Gurleyman himself leading some Stern Guard.
Battle of the Ages.
Into Death Jester, Solitaire, 2 Wraith Lords, and 2 D-Cannons. And I officially hate D-Cannons again.
How many D-Cannons?
2.
It depends if you manage to roll 4 sixes, and 2 5s.
Yeah, on your fate dice, and then continue to roll 6s and 5s on your fate dice.
Yeah, those lucky Eldar dice we all know so well. It'd be a great game, that Jack and James into Eros. I think they both came into the league and performed well. A couple of wins under their belt. Picked up some draws. Will be a good game.
Yeah, I think Jack and James have done
well. It'd be good for them to see how well they can work towards finishing a game this time around, because I think they've been struggling a little bit with timing, but I think it's probably getting better every time, so let's hope continue with that.
Yeah, certainly. I know last round, I know Steve and Jack and James had their entire 2,000 point armies clashed round 1, and it was going to take a long time from there when everything's engaged. So Those games do tend to go on. Next up is James Larkin on his CSM into Jordan on his Space Marines.
Oh, interesting.
So another clash of Space Marines into CSM.
Yeah. Jordan's got Repulsor, Dreads, and loads of Marines of different types. I can't tell the difference. And James Larkin's bought Huron Blackheart, who I don't know who that is.
He's the
So
Twin
this
Pack boy.
was the guy that Nathan had some success with in a previous list that just went round destroying everything.
Well, I think he was on the stream. The boy, he survived the whole game basically. Who was he playing on the stream? I can't remember now, but he got some points back. It was into Matt.
Did he have the? I think he had the enhancement that let him jump his back out of combat, didn't it?
Oh yeah, but I don't think he used it. I think he spent the whole time in combat killing unit after unit.
2 Hellbrutes and loads of bodies, so there's just that table's just going to be full of Marines.
Yeah, be a good classic CSM into Space Marines. So lots of combat, lots of fighting, lots of shooting. The next fixture up is young Alex. So Alex on his Necrons into Harry on his Necrons. So we actually have a second mirror match in the pairings.
Isn't that a great way to finish the league?
Yeah.
Harry into Alex. Now, I'm not sure. You've done the notes this
yeah,
week,
so
Adam?
young Alex has brought a Catan. He's brought Trazen. Lots of characters. There's a lot of variety in there. And Harry's brought a Catan. Lots of characters, 30 warriors, and lots of heavy weapons.
Okay, so quite similar list then. There's no kind of like 3 monoliths and signs.
No. They've not done a bearded Steve and bought 46 Catans.
Okay, so yeah, a couple of good mirror matches actually. Really see what. So we're going to have our chief Necron player, our chief Death Guard player. Going to be interesting at the end of this round. The next pairing is Phil Roberts on Sisters into the last one Necron players into Martin. So Martin and Phil going to go head to head. Is that the triple Exo Sisters list?
No, it's a vehicle list. It's Celestine, Morgan Val, Warsuits, and all of the vehicles.
Yeah, how many? Exorcist is the indirect tank, isn't it? I can't remember how many were in there. But, many, I assume. Yeah. They're just so good.
They are good. I mean, if you generally, I think you see people running two or three.
There will be a huge nerf coming for Sisters this data slate, so enjoy it while you can.
I've been saying that for 2 slates though, then they nerf one thing and then just make something else even better. So let's see what they do to tackle that.
He's going to need them all because he's going into 2 Catan Shards, 2 Canoptic Doomstalkers, and 3 units of Heavy Destroyers.
Okay, and has anybody actually opted for a new detachment? I don't think I've seen anybody
that
who's actually
sounds
gone
like it
for.
would be.
Wondering if Martin is not playing the.
No, I don't think he is.
Okay. I mean, the new Necron detachment looked tasty, so I was
curious
if anybody was going to go for that because it just looked.
I'll just double check.
Have a quick look at that. It'll be at the top of the one.
No, Hypercrypt.
Oh, Hypercrypt. Okay.
That new Necron one looks
There you go, Phil.
Tasty.
He's got 2 Exos, 3 Castigators, so
Oh, there we go.
Plenty of vehicles.
Lots of dead Necrons.
Yeah.
Cool. Next fixture is Greg Roberts on his World Eaters into Barry on his Eldar.
Oh. Yeah, Barry's bought Azaman, Karandras, 2 Fire Prisms, 2 units of Warp Spiders, but mostly MSUs. He's bought all of the Prism Bloody Warriors, whatever they're called. Guardian guys. Just like 2 of everything.
Yeah, I mean, traditionally Eldar struggle into World Eaters because they can't deal with the oppressive forward movement of that many bodies. So it will be tough for him that game, I think. I assume there's an Angron in there somewhere for Greg.
There is,
almost certainly. The Eldar, if they can take out Angron early and he stays out of the game for a while, he can focus on killing the infantry. But generally speaking, it's a tough one. So.
Yeah, and it is obviously quite an aggressive map. This one with because it's the staggered deployment. There is I think it's a 20-inch gap between the corners of the 2, and with the advance and charge strats, I think you can comfortably get 21 to 23 inches on the World Eater unit. So there are some potential turn 1 charges there, which would obviously be quite scary if you are T3 Pixies. So that will be an interesting game. I think it comes down to who gets first turn.
Barry was expecting that one, it seems, in the chat. So.
Oh, was he?
Yeah.
Next up is going to be Ty on his Space Wolves into Lee Hughes on his Black Templars.
Well, Ty has been taking some notes, I think, because Ty just called this the last ride of the Wolves. It's Bjorn, Grimnir, Ragnar, and all of the Thunderwolves.
Okay, he's obviously been taking notes from Josh B.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's interesting for me, that one, Black Templars and Space Wolves. They both want to get stuck in. I think the Black Templars can pip it with their fight on death.
Yeah.
But we'll see.
Yeah. Well, he's got Helbrecht, Grimaldus, a Lancer, Vindicator, and lots of boys with swords.
Yeah. And he's got the Vindicator in there. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, that could potentially help into those Wolf Cav, I would say. Lancers, in my experience, are too swingy on their own, but Grimaldus will do some work as well.
Yeah.
So. Great, Helbrecht even.
Yeah.
Good luck with that one, gents. That'll be interesting. Both great guys.
So next up will potentially be our buy game, because it is Tristan,
Right.
and he's been drawn into Andy on his Space Marines. So as it stands, and again this will be dependent on whether Alex Sodek wishes to play his game or take the buy victory, which is his preference. Potentially will play Alex's opponent. If not Andy, we will obviously have a game for you over the next couple of weeks. So if you don't end up having a league game, we will find you somebody to play. I'm sure you'll be at club both weeks anyway. So that will be our buy
Andy
game.
Adamson
Yeah.
running.
He's 2 Redemptors, Calgar, Assassin, loads of bodies on the table as well. I think he was predicting to get drawn into Matt.
Oh, which would have been a cool game.
That
for
would
them
have been a
both.
great game.
Yeah. But he's got Tristan, so no game for Andy.
As it stands, I know. I say Alex did reach out to say that he can't make the game this side of Christmas. So because we're on a 2-week schedule to finish the league, potentially there might be some pairing changes, but we'll confirm that later in the day.
Okay.
Next up is Simon Jones on his Custodes, into Chris Hughes on these Cow Space Marines. So Chris making his debut stream performance in the last round.
Yep.
Into Rich. And CSM into Simon. Again, Simon hasn't taken advantage of the new Custodes detachment.
No, he hasn't, and I think he may struggle a bit because he's brought all of the sisters.
He's gone sisters.
Oh, really?
They're very sisters heavy. He's got loads of wardens as well.
Which detachment is he playing? Is he gone for? Because there is a sisters detachment. Which,
let me just double check.
I'd like to see someone taking something different.
Yeah.
I was hoping for a guard detachment to come out before this Sunday.
Seems to be loading.
it probably could. Okay, no worries.
But that is going into a list I've called Cypher No Siphoning, because it's got Cypher. And it's got 2 Forge Fiends, 2 Mauler Fiends, 2 Venom Crawlers, 2 of everything really.
I think that's a new change for him in Cypher. But yeah, it's struggled with that detachment, especially in the last last mission, because it was horrible for vehicles. This one's much better for
yes,
vehicles.
it's a nice one. Okay, so that again, I think it's probably a little bit too early for people to in the league format to get their heads around those new detachments and try them out. The next fixture, which actually answers the previous question, will be Matt Hughes on his Orcs into Alex Sodek.
Okay.
So potentially, it might actually be Andy versus Matt, which actually would be great to see them two playing, and I call it a real game of 40k.
Yeah. Well, yeah, they're both better up to speed now than when they first started. I think it'll be a really interesting game for them. Matt's not really changed his list. It's still Gaz with his Mega Knob out.
I'm really happy with that result, actually. And
to be clear for everybody, Alex had already approached me and offered to sit out the round if Trish couldn't make the last round. So from that perspective, if Alex still wishes to do that, it will be Andy into Alex. Sorry, Andy into Matt.
Yeah.
But we'll clarify that on the full draw. And that leaves 2 more pairings. It is Miters. World Eaters are great, but not when the enemy disappears just as you get to the other side of the table.
No.
So, interesting game. Josh doesn't tend to play jumpy demons, though. He often has some
he's taken lots of big demons and some Beasts of Nurgle this time.
Interesting.
And of course, Mike's got Angry Ron and lots of little Angry Rons.
See how many great demons Angron can kill, I guess.
Yeah.
I think the answer is a lot.
Yeah, again, for
might
Mike, really good on this mission if you can get those turn 1 charges off and just lock your opponent up all game. If demons are engaged and they can't jump away, so interesting.
Tagging them.
Good map for Mike.
So how many fixtures we got left?
And then the last fixture
here we go.
is Steve Davis on Ultramarines, again, into Paul on his Tau Empire.
Steve's rocking Calgar and Canis Rex. And Paul is Farsight, lots of strikes teams, lots of battle suits. I don't know the difference between all the battle suits. It just said battle suit, battle suit, battle suit, battle suit, battle suit, battle suit, gunship.
One's with flamers, one's with plasma, one's with alpha.
Yeah.
Simplifying 10th edition, I think, was the concept of that. Rather than give you battle war gear points, we'll just give you a different unit that's the same as a different gun.
So what I can do is
actually what I expect to happen to Rubik Marines in the next T-Sons Codex is have one unit which is flamers and one unit which is bolters.
So what I'll do is I'll just bring the fixtures up on here if I can. And thanks to Rich, Notorious Nurgle for £2 super chat. Yeah, please do like and subscribe. Thanks for sharing that out there, Rich. Always a superstar. Done.
It's worth it just for my detailed description of Space Marine armies.
Should be trying to bring it there. There's the fixtures up on the screen now, round 6. So to go through it, obviously we'll be approaching 2 groups of people or 2 pairs for a stream game at some point. But myself and Matt, Ben and Jordan, Nick into Bearded Steve, Chaos Space Marines James the Goblin, Larkin, George, Phil Roberts' sisters into Martin Bolton's Necrons, Ty's Space Wolves into Lee's Black Templars, Simon Jones's Custodies into Chris Hughes's Mauler Fiend Death, Simon S's Chaos Demons into Mike Dobley's World Eaters, Josh Burns into James Wright's Orcs, lots of Grot Tanks, Kilocans, Adam's Votan Dwarves into Fernando's Astrometan. Don't cry for me, Fernando. Reese's Death Guard. Rich's Death Guard.
I'm looking forward to that nerd off.
I am as well. That's going to be fantastic. Jax and James is Space Marines into Eros's Eldari. Then we have Alex, young Alex's Necrons into Harry's Necrons. Another Mirror Map. Roberts' World Eaters into Barry Betts' Eldar. Andy Adamson's Space Marines may be going into Matt Hughes. The final fixture, Stephen Davies' Space Marines into Paul Murphy's Tau. Some fantastic games there. Definitely some skew ones. I think mine, looking at Matt's list, is going to be a very difficult game, actually, given the number of bodies and how many invuns. If he rolls 4s, I'm in trouble.
Yeah, pretty much. 4s for the win.
Basically, if James's shooting doesn't go off into Josh's Space Wolves, he's in trouble. Ben Lane and his T-Sons into Jordan. These are the top fixtures I'm just going through here. I mean, that could go one way or the other. I just think if those Jump Marines get into Ben's T-Sons, it's going to be pretty horrible potentially. But if Ben can get all the shots off, he doesn't stand a chance. So it's really interesting how that's going to be a very positional one. That's one I'd probably like to see, but it's down to the players to agree.
They are our 3. I'd say that there's 3 games that will determine basically our league winner. I think obviously with yourself and Matt and Josh and James, ultimately, if whoever wins those games, it's the 2 from those pairings who win the league based on the current scorings because of the opponents they're playing. So those 2 games for our league champion. So I think really that there's some obviously cadence there to look at those as our initial stream games because we'd like to. It'd be great to actually crown the champion on stream, especially if one plays the game week 1, 1, 2. Doesn't mean we can't have multiple streams. So I think it'd be good to get those games in. Christmas break pending would be fantastic. Yes, I mean it's this is the 3rd season in a row out of all 3 where I think the concern was as we got later in the rounds, it would be we get to the point where there's not really much to play for, and I think again it's a really interesting end. Some great mirror matchups this round. That they might not be playing for the league, but they are playing for best in faction. Some great games at the top of the table, some great fixtures towards the bottom as well. People can pull themselves all the way up to middle of the league performance as well.
Yeah, I'm really excited for it. We'll see any comments in the chat or obviously in our club group chat. just let us know what you think the games are that you want to see. Obviously, we're aware that there's been a few repeat players on there, but keep striving, keep pushing. Let's play on. It'll be great to wrap up this league and award the winner, and just to celebrate the great work that's gone into all this. And thank you all for being part of it. And I suppose we'll come to you again with more league information in the new year. Haven't finalised that as ever, Ben.
Yeah, I'll just say for those who this is their first league, and actually we had about 11, 12 new players this time round.
Yeah.
Generally, the format will give the opportunity to paint their new Christmas models, enjoy the summer,
and rest.
Have some rest, and then we generally try and kick the league off somewhere in June, July, August. It depends on the length of the league. So certainly the intention at the moment is to run the next league in the second half of the year next year.
Okay.
In the first half of the year, obviously, we will still have lots of events going on. The club, I believe, there'll be a Mordham campaign. There's going to be Munda campaign. There's an Old World campaign going on.
Yeah.
People are interested in trying other games. We are also looking to host a more narrative-focused Crusade campaign in 40k later on towards the end of the first quarter.
And that reminds me, and what will be scratching your competitive itch going forward is the RTTs. So the first one is this Sunday coming up, 15th of December, the North Wales Championships. Get your names in there, get involved, get your skill up. There's a great pool of talent in that. You will learn a lot from that. It is, of course, ranked, but we expect the conduct to be gentlemanly. See, it's what you're used to. This is what we've been training you all for with the map layout, the missions, and with the FAQ ruling. And those will become a regular fixture at club either every month or every other month. Rex Hammer will be hosting one or two as well during the year, because this is all about bringing the North Welsh community together and actually building up the Welsh 40k scene. And so far, based on what we've done with the league, what Ben's done with this league in our club alone, you can see how well it's gone, the growth, the continued engagement. And I just want to thank everyone here. It's been fantastic. So
yeah, it has been great. And the last thing I'll say is just for those, we had 24 players at the club last week for our Christmas evening. Thank you to Matt and others like Reese who helped support that game. Those events, anyone can run those events. I just want to say, sometimes we don't want people to feel at the club like they're only locked into the events that we run or other people run. It's an open club and community. If you want to run an event, you want support to help organise it and put it in place, speak to Matt, speak to me, speak to Josh, let us know. The more events we're running, the more interactive the community is, the better it is for all of us. So,
yeah. It's your club, guys. Let's do this together. So, Merry Christmas, enjoy your game, and